Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 105. On this show, we showcase guns, gear, and anything else that gun enthusiasts may be looking for. We strive to evaluate a product from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Today I have with me TJ, Chad, and Tony. How's it going, guys?
It's going
It's
good
great.
here.
Yep, I'm doing good as well.
Awesome. So before we get into what we've done in guns this week, just briefly go through the announcements. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Patriot Patch Co. Check out patriotpatch.co to check out all the new products that we've recently added. I think since the last episode we've added 6 patches to the store. Just insane. And we added some t-shirts as well. So we've got, as far as the patches go, I added his lips and her beard. I'm sorry, got that reversed. his beard and her lips. It's a male beard, and his teeth are biting down on a bullet. And then the female version of that is some nice, sexy, snarling lips biting down on a bullet. So for the his and her couple in your life that love firearms, we've also got a AR-15 bolt face. We've got a galactic operator that's reminiscent of Star Wars. And then we have some actual head stamps that we're starting to do. So we've got a pistol 3-pack and a rifle 3-pack. The pistol pack has a 9mm 40 Smith & Wesson and 45 auto head stamps, and they're kind of proportionate to each other as far as the 45 head stamp is bigger than the other two. And then for rifles, we got 5.56 by 45. We got 308 Winchester, and then we got 300 Blackout. And that's actually, instead of being brass color, that's going to be black. For you blackout Kool-Aid drinkers out there. So check those out. patriotpatch.co. Well, guests are always welcome on the show. If you want to send myself an email at cross@firearmsradio.tv, be happy to get you on the show. If you're shopping for some Kydex holsters, check out Bravo Concealment. You can get 10% off your next order using RTT Combo 10 is the promo code there. Also, we're giving away a Surefire Procom 5.56 muzzle brake. Deadline is Halloween, October 31st. Leave us an iTunes review, copy it to the Firearms Insider Facebook page, and give us a like, and then you'll be entered to win. Pretty sweet brake, 2-chamber, make you think you shoot better than you actually do. It's actually a really nice brake for just shooting from the bench, or if you're in the 3-gun competition, you want reduced muzzle rise. And then we got some comments from the last show that TJ is going to cover.
Yeah, so we got a message today on Facebook from a guy talking about how I kind of, I realized it was going on as I was talking about it, but when I was talking about the char cloth last week as part of the fire piston highlight, I realized I kind of probably sounded like an idiot, not really knowing what I was talking about. And so he was just kind of saying, hey, why don't you actually look it up next time? So that's what I did. Looked up char cloth, and I'll just read the definition. It is also called char paper. It's a swatch of fabric made from a vegetable fiber such as linen, cotton, or jute that has been converted via pyrolysis into a slow-burning fuel or very low ignition temperature. And basically what it is a piece of cotton that's been completely dried out through heat. And the process to make it, I put in a video if anybody's interested in making it. And they basically cleaned out a tuna can, punch a hole in the top, and put some 100% cotton. I just cut up a t-shirt and put it over an open flame, and eventually the heat inside builds up to where it shoots a little flame spout out the top, and once that flame goes away, it's sufficiently charred, and you can use it as a slow burning fuel to get a fire started. So I haven't made a fire with it yet. I made the contraption to make it in about 15 minutes and made some char cloth. So I'll be trying that out this weekend, see if I can get a little fire going using just some char cloth and some dried stuff I found around my yard.
What's that process called?
Pyrolysis, I guess.
Yeah. Next time my fiance makes a steak, I'm going to be like, you know how you cook that baby? With pyrolysis, because that was dry.
Oh, look. Oh, wow. Yeah, go ahead and do that, buddy. Yeah, I've done this. I've made char cloth, and it's pretty cool. because pretty much you're like cooking a shirt.
Yeah.
And all the moisture goes out of it. Thereby, when just a spark hits it, it catches on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty cool because if you try making a fire by just kicking sparks on the dry grass, it takes a little bit. But you put a little piece of char cloth, the minute a spark hits that sucker, it goes up.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the benefit of using it in the fire piston. It heats up and fire.
Well,
fires quickly.
I have my get home bag, and I have a fire kit. I actually have 2 fire kits in my get home bag, and char cloth is in both of them because of that char cloth. Vaseline soaked cotton balls, and just easy stuff like that to go ahead and worst case scenario start a fire. Because
Well, now,
again, mine's
Tony.
a get home bag. It's not survival in the woods. Yeah.
Now, how come, if you know this, how come you didn't interject last week and not let me sound like an idiot?
Because you didn't sound like that much of an idiot. I mean, you said what it was, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, that's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah. But we had a concern, so I just figured I'd clear it up.
Okay.
Yeah, criticism and feedback is always welcomed. I mean, we can't be expected to really explain everything. You know, when we're talking about a piston, we shouldn't have to define, what char cloth is. But I guess for a lot of people that don't know, it's useful information.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. So, let's get into the main product spotlights. This week, it's kind of a miscellaneous products episode, but I think it's going to be a pretty good podcast to listen to nonetheless. First off, for you guys that are into building your own rifles, I know this is going to be really popular with you. So POF, Patriot Ordnance Factory, they make some pretty awesome artistic AR-15s. They've released their Dictator adjustable gas block. So when you're doing your own build, you'll be able to buy this gas block and basically give yourself adjustable gas capability to your AR instead of having just direct impingement. So actually, it's a 9-position adjustable direct impingement gas block. So it's not a piston system. Am I correct in saying that?
No, it's not a
piston system.
A piston.
Right.
It's just an adjustable gas block that I guess you could use for silencer use or weak ammo or just whatever you would normally use a adjustable gas system for.
So this would be a way for you to retrofit an AR without having to go through a more expensive conversion to piston system, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about adjusting it is also if you're doing something like 3-gun or want to put a lot of rounds downrange quickly without coming off the target, you can adjust this so it softens the kick. It doesn't bring it off target. That's why I've been looking at this for a while doing my own builds, and I've been going between this company and another couple of companies. Just trying to figure out what I want to do for my dream build.
Yeah, it helps you like tune the gas system to your exact ammo you're using, because like if you're loading your own, then you can tune it so it's just cycling and not beating up the gun and reduces some felt recoil. So yeah, Tony's pretty spot on there.
Cool.
Yeah, one of the cool things is it offers I don't know how big of an issue this is per se, but their reasoning seems to be sound, so I wanted to bring it up. They use a straight gas tube, where most of the time, I'm sure if you've ever built or looked at a gas tube on an AR, they have that. They go straight for 6 inches and then they curve upward just maybe a quarter of an inch and then they go straight again. And so this is a straight one, and what they claim is that it avoids that buildup of heat from the air kind of getting trapped in that corner, I guess you could say. Whenever you're firing suppressed or something, you get a lot of blowback, and that heat goes in there and it heats the gas tube in that particular spot.
Yeah, I've seen gas tubes rupture from suppressed full auto fire because of heat buildup. So this might be that little bit extra that avoids that from happening at that spot. Who knows where it happened at? Because it could happen anyway if you're doing a bunch of burn-throughs. Because even in the military, we don't just hose down like guys here at machine gun shoots and stuff, You pay your money, you get the mag, and you just hose it down because you can. Yeah, that doesn't really happen in the military for the most part, in a firefight or even on a range.
Yeah, I forgot what it took him, but I know Iraq vet did his AR meltdown. It was quite a lot of rounds that were put through full auto fire before that thing failed. So.
Yeah, Tim did it. Tim did it up in Maine. I forgot the name of the guy, but I'm subscribed to both of them. And it was a suppressed pistol, SBR. And he just blew it out, man. It was hilarious. I mean, because it wasn't mine, so it was hilarious.
It's funny because it's not you. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lots of stuff is funny because it's not me.
I just noticed that it's dictator adjustable gas block, but the first two letters of dictator are capitalized DI, and that stands for direct impingement. So it's somewhat of a play on words or play on letters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to adjust using a flathead screwdriver or a 3 3/32 hex wrench, and the dictation tool that's included when you buy the kit. So I was looking at this. Of course, you can get it in different gas system lengths. So you can get it in carbine length, mid-length, pistol length, or rifle length. So that's just changing out the length of the tube. The barrel diameter that it fits is for .75, so that's most common barrels. However, looking at the specs of this thing, it looks to be 1.57 inches tall. However, that's not like the bore, the barrel isn't like perfectly centered in that, so I don't see this fitting underneath the handguard. Do you guys?
Yeah, from center of the barrel to the top of the gas block is 1 inch. So yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. For them to be able to do that straight tube, since it's usually lower on the bore end of the gas tube, they would have to pick it up on that end. So I guess that is interesting. I wonder.
Yeah. So this would be outside the handguard for sure.
Yeah,
then.
you'd probably have to have it like a lot of the piston guns where they have to be outside. So that's kind of interesting.
And and it probably works with one of their hand guards. It probably has a little channel for it. I didn't go look yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I would assume they probably make something that fits it.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I know one of the popular ones is the Midwest Industries, and I think it's supposed to be pretty slim on the inside, so it might not fit in there. And that's a pretty popular handguard.
Yeah. So it's got an MSRP of $180. So I mean, as far as comparatively to, do you know what the MSRP of that Midwest Industries one is?
Oh no, I was talking about the rail. I'm not sure that.
I thought they had a gas system.
Yeah, they probably do. Let me see. I haven't looked at adjustable gas systems, but I see a lot of adjustable gas blocks, and they're not anywhere near that price, but they're usually just a little bitty set screw kind of. You just push the set screw in and out to adjust it, rather than like these kind of more defined. I don't know if this thing has like click settings. Did they specify that?
I don't know, but it's easy to adjust compared.
Yeah, it's like right there up front instead of having this little bitty set screw. It even comes with the little tool that's got like a big old hole in it, so you can put it on a keychain or something like that. So it's got to be pretty.
And they do make a 308 version as well. So if you're working on building yourself some kind of AR-10 or 308 caliber, they do have that. It looks like it's available in mid-length only, from what I'm seeing here. But it's got the same MSRP as $179.99. So.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. It's the same price, because it seems like sometimes they jack up the price for 308 stuff.
Yeah, usually it's easier.
I was looking on on the Noveski site, and they have an adjustable low pro gas block, and it's like $106, and it is like TJ said, it's a little set screw sticking out the end, and you just kind of screw it in or back it out to adjust the gas block. So
I looked at their site for their Renegade and their Renegade Plus, and the gas block is actually covered, and it has the dictator. So it does cover the gas block in their handguards.
What is that? The handguard is their Renegade?
Actually, I'm looking at their Renegade rifle.
Oh, okay.
And The handguards covered it up.
Sweet.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so it
looks
must
like
have a little bit better diameter, a little
yeah, it's
higher.
got a panel in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's also made for the piston guns.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I bet if you
Yeah.
have if you find a handguard that would fit over a piston gun, you ought to be able to use it with this. Which is a little odd. I'm honestly kind of not entirely sure what all it, other than that kind of choke point that we were talking about in the gas tube bend. I'm not sure really what else this offers over some of the $70 to $100. I mean, even the JP, which is a pretty highly regarded company, theirs I just looked up on Brownells is like $80. So I'm kind of curious.
I'm sorry, but unless you're running a suppressor or full auto, what advantage? You can't heat it up that much.
You mean
Right.
in free states, like everywhere?
Don't hate on me because I'm constitutionally impaired.
Okay.
It's a handicap. I live in Jersey.
I'll send you $1. You can move.
I can't move. I work for the state.
All right, so the website for that is POF-USA.com. You guys can check that out. Also, link in the show notes. Next up, we're going to be poking some more fun and probably stirring up the hornet's nest of fanboy hate emails. But today we're going to be talking mostly objectively about Sig Sawyer's new Legion series. So the Sig Sauer marketing team has come up with a merchandising goldmine that is known as Legion. So they've kind of invented a club. It's the Legion Club. It seems like most companies, when they want to increase sales and get into really like heavily pushing merchandising, they go this route. So you can get to get in the Legion, you just need to buy one of their pistols apparently. So they've got the SIG P226, they've got the 226 single action only, and they've got the P229. So they are a little bit more upgraded, and we'll go through the enhancements to those. Their MSRPs are obviously going to be a bit higher, and then that gets you in the club, and then there's all sorts of cool stuff you can buy to fill your clubhouse, your SIG clubhouse, with the shot glasses, ashtrays, hats, holsters, patches, everything to fill that hole in your heart. I mean, what do you guys think about this?
I guess it's a kind of cool way for them to offer like a kind of like you said, like an exclusive club, and I believe one of the perks of being in the Legion, I guess they call it, is kind of almost like input from users, I guess you could say. Like if they're looking to develop something new, they're gonna ask their Legionnaires, I guess, first. But
So
you like that, Antonio?
To get into the Legion Club, what do you do? Get drunk,
Yeah.
and then they Shanghai you and take you to Africa?
Hey, that's not funny. It's not funny, man.
So it looks like the suggested retail for each one of these handguns is about $1,428. The enhancements to them are, let's see here. It comes with a reduced and contoured beaver tail, adjustable trigger, and SIG's own electro-optics X-ray high-visibility day-night sights.
Why
so
would
you're
you?
looking at
Oh, sorry.
You're looking at night sights, adjustable trigger, and then they kind of adjusted the beaver tail a little bit.
Yeah, why would you reduce the beaver tail? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, that was kind of curious whenever I saw that. I wonder. I would imagine reducing the beaver tail would possibly make it a little easier, a little more comfortable for carry. If you're carrying inside the waistband or appendix or anywhere, you have one less thing to prod you. But at the same time, I was kind of curious. They've been, I don't know how long SIG's been making 226s and these, but it's been a couple decades, and it seems like if they didn't need it, they would have dropped that beaver tail by now, rather than having it be like a exclusive upgrade. But some more things they also offered. I guess some improved checkering on the front strap, and they also raised that trigger guard undercut, I think is what it's called, where they kind of get rid of some material at the bottom of the trigger guard where like your middle finger would hit to kind of let you get a little bit higher grip. And they put their SRT trigger, which they tend to put in some of their other, like their Elite 226 Elite, for example. But what they also did is made it adjustable. So I guess you have a fully adjustable and a short reset trigger. And from what I understand, Ryan McChad, he frequents a gun shop up there in Maine, and they have one, and he said the trigger is really sweet. So for just kind of looking at a comparable SIG, the 226 Elite has the SRT and night sights and all the kind of similar enhancements, just without the shortened beaver tail and the raised undercut. And it's only, I think, $200 above that. So for that $200, you're getting the adjustable trigger, the raised undercut, the beaver tail, and actually some lower profile controls, which I guess could be handy if you have a problem with locking the slide back prematurely, or not locking the slide back if your hands happen to ride funny on the gun, depending on your hand size and positioning and stuff. So I can see those as benefits. So
yeah, because like
what I'm seeing actually
with the SIGs, the few SIGs I've shot, I've noticed that you can, if you're shooting like thumbs forward with your thumb up, you can hit that slide stop. So like when the mag's empty, if you're putting any pressure on it, it won't lock the slide back. So a smaller control, I can see, could actually help with that.
Yeah. So the MSRP is actually $230 above that Elite. So it's kind of obviously it's up to the user whether or not they see those upgrades as a benefit.
Right.
I personally see this. I personally see this as a good thing. I like it. And I know I was goofing on it because it is funny. But it seems to me SIG is doing what Ruger did. Ruger took everybody else's stuff and they did to a Ruger, and Ruger did it to their own thing. You know what I mean? With the 1022, they put the trigger on it. They have the new BX trigger. They got the new BX 25 magazines. So this is the exact same thing, except they created a club around it. So all the enhancements and everything, everybody either paid for to be done and custom work with a SIG, or stuff that they requested on, like you said, the Elite. They put it all on this pistol with a different paint job, gave you a little He-Man Moment Haters Club secret decoder ring, and you pay that extra little money and you get deals with other companies also along with this in the Legion, because now they also work with, who was it? Emerson Knives.
Oh, yeah.
And other companies, and I think it was a flashlight company there too. Yeah, Surefire, Peltor, and Black Point Tactical. So you have all these. It's a whole marketing thing. And if there's only a $250 difference, it's cool. It's still fanboy, but it's kind of cool. But I don't understand why they send you the custom case later on. Why don't they sell it in the custom case?
Yeah, that was a little odd. I guess honestly, I can't even imagine a situation why that's the case, because
I think they really want you to
put it in there.
They want you to register, so that way they've got your name and the serial number, and you're in the Legion. You don't have to scare you guys with the tinfoil hats when you mention registering a gun. It's like registering your computer. Do you want the benefits from Dell or from Apple? You've got to register the software. So you call up SIG with the handgun serial number, and they'll send you a complimentary plastic custom fit case for your specific gun, along with a challenge coin to match your pistol. Oh boy!
There you go.
I imagine the challenge coin is a blown-up version of a little grip emblem, which is kind of cool, kind of like a little.
Yeah.
With your serial number on it.
Yeah. So we didn't mention though. Tony kind of touched on it, that it was a special finish. It's a gray finish, and I've been kind of really interested in gray guns lately. I don't know why, but just gray looks good on a gun.
Hella strategic fanboy, Travis Haley fanboy, Travis
Yeah.
Haley fanboy.
No,
Gray,
no.
gray is the new flat dark earth.
Gray
Yeah.
or primer, which?
Yeah.
Right.
Battleship
I'm
gray is the
actually
new color.
I'm actually like back onto the 226. Is that they actually are offering their single action only version
Yeah, that is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty cool.
9mm, which
Yeah.
like TJ was saying, pretty much before you had to go to one of their like elite guns to get the single action only trigger, and it's remnants of it's got a safety instead of like a decocker or something, so it's pretty much your standard single action only.
Yeah.
Flip the safety up,
For anybody,
flip it down.
yeah, for anyone who wanted 1911, anyone who wants a 1911 with a high bore axis.
Yeah, and they can shoot. That can hold 19 rounds.
Yeah, I think it's kind of curious. The single action only gun only comes in 9mm as opposed to 940 and 357 that the other
Yeah,
that the DASA comes in.
I think most of the single action onlys you can get from SIG, I think, come with in 9mm only. So
That's
Or 45.
Or 45, yes.
Oh, also the single action only gun comes with a Master Shop Super Match flat trigger, so it's a little bit different trigger than
Right.
the other ones. It's got that flat instead of the curve, so I know some people like that. I've never gotten to shoot a gun with a flat trigger, so I have no opinion of it.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see if other companies, take this route of introducing clubs. I mean, if Ruger had like a wine club thing, as many new products as they released last year, if there was like a Ruger wine club where like every month I got like a new product to try out, or I bought them all for a large collective price, but it was, just something new every month, I would totally sign up for that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems, one, you're getting a good gun. You're getting a gun with a lot of stuff on it, and then you're getting a gun with stuff that's exclusive to Legion. And if you're a fanboy, I don't see you being disappointed in this. Plus, you also have the other companies that they're doing this with also. I mean, the only one, I'm reading the names, and the only one I know is Emerson Knives. I mean, sorry, but the rest of them must be way too tactical for me. Peltor Surefire, okay, got those. Black Point Tactical, don't know, but I don't operate operationally, so whatever. But I see nothing wrong with this. It's pretty cool. I don't think you're getting beat on it. I can just goof on you over the fanboyness of it all. But that's cool. Nothing's wrong with that.
Looks like
It's not like
Black
it's a High Point fanboy club.
Looks like Black Point Tactical makes inside, or they make holsters. So like a Kydex shop. So I guess they're probably going to be making kind of Legion branded Black Point holsters, I guess.
There's even a Legion travel humidor, so you can carry your cigars in a sweet cedar lined tube that's got it looks like it's got a compass in the lid.
Okay, cool. In case I get lost while smoking my cigar. Hey,
Yeah.
I guess I should bring some char cloth.
Oh. Yeah, I only smoke Cubans ignited by char cloth.
Only.
Only. Get that Honduran stuff out of here.
Oh, get out of here with that. Is that made in Honduras? You don't even char cloth, bro.
Nice. So the website for that is if you just go to store.sixsour.com, you can go to the Legion. It's got this also all that good stuff in there. So yeah, check it out if you're into SIGs. I'm sure you'll be all excited as get go. I think if there's any group of gun owners between Glocks and Springfields and Rugers and High Points, if there's any group that would buy into this like club exclusive mentality, it has to be SIG owners, because like I don't know, like you walk into a bar and there's a CrossFitter, a vegan, and a SIG owner. Like, how do you know who they are? Don't worry, all three of them will tell you.
I think a close competitor would have to be HK guys though.
Yeah.
Thank you,
that is
HK
true.
guy.
That is true.
You'll know them because they'll have the HK hat, the HK keychain, the HK T-shirt. And
Yeah.
their name will be Chaos. They'll
Yeah.
have a channel on YouTube.
I mean, like Glock's got the same. They got their clothing line. They had the Gaston Glock clothing line, and then the whole Perfection series. Where I don't think it took off as much because it was all just like golf shirts, that you get on wholesale, and you can have your name embroidered on them. So, I mean, some of these things are kind of cool, but I mean, even if it was a different company, it's not like I want a Ruger ashtray. That's just not something on my list of needs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colt tried to do that too with a little success, but not much because really Colt hasn't come out with a new gun since the Python. And all the new guns they did come out with in the 70s and 80s, they stopped making. So good job on that, Colt. Way to drop the ball.
Once you
Who
pump
else
out the
makes it?
Python, man, you can just put your feet up. You're good to go.
Yeah, no, you can't. You become irrelevant, and that's
Yeah.
what they did. Nobody's
So-
dying to get a Colt anymore.
All right. Well, the next one we got to talk about is this is an accessory from Strike Industries. I thought that this would be worth mentioning. If you got a Glock 43 and you still think it's a little short for your hand, or if you've been holding off on getting a 43 because of the surface area, the real estate on the grip, Strike Industries has made an enhanced magazine floor plate for the Glock 43. It gives you an enhanced magazine, so it gives you +2 rounds, and you can definitely get all 3 of your fingers on that grip, no problem. And it actually blends in with the design of the Glock very well. It's got the same Gen 4 kind of braille grip texture on there. It's a very attractive grip extension, and that just might be what you want. If depending on how you carry, having a little bit extra added length to that grip might be good. It might be bad depending on how you carry it. But I think if I was going to get a Glock 43 somehow, some way, if I wanted one, I would definitely. This would be one of the first upgrades that I get, just so it's more comfortable for me to shoot.
Yeah, and then you'd have 9 rounds on board instead of just the 7, which has got to be a lot better, a lot more comforting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the styling of it. A lot of companies kind of it'll just be like a little slapped on extension, but this one looks like they honestly it looks like they got the design files from Glock and just extended the grip a little bit, and maybe they Glock's working on the 19 size 43, and Strike Industries just stole their grip and put it on there, put it as that. So it blends very seamlessly, I guess you could say. And it's got like a little kind of flipper extension at the bottom to keep it from jumping too much in recoil. And whenever I shot the 43, that was actually something I noticed. It tended to slip out of my hand a little bit, and I think that little bottom flipper would probably help a lot. And then the MSRP on them is only $12, $11.95. So that's a really good price for an extension. I don't believe it comes with an extra strength mag spring. It doesn't look like it because the box is tiny. But I guess
You might not need one.
yeah, maybe. I think Glock tends to put some longer, overpowered springs in their smaller guns, so maybe they're just counting on that. What else? Low drag, no snag design is what they're claiming, which I thought was a little funny. You always hear the high speed, low drag.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly,
I think
it looks
it's a
like
pretty
this
cool
pretty
setup.
much turns it into a single stack 19, with a little shorter barrel.
Well, what I'm looking at is there's two things: width and length of the handguard, the hand grip itself, that kind of blows your whole concealed carry thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is adding some length to it. But the way they did it with the kind of organic curve going there a little bit, I think it'll probably help break up the pattern that usually you see when a pistol comes to an abrupt end. Especially semi-autos, if you ever notice, like, revolvers are more rounded off if you carry them concealed, like a snubby or something like that. This has a little bit of rounding going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, what do they call the 1911s with that rear...
Yeah, bobtail.
Yeah, bobtail. that kind of styling.
They call it the bobtail. And truthfully, I mean, if you want to really go old school, South African Vector. If you look something like that up, just the bottom of the grip itself, it curves like that pistol from back in the day. I like it. I mean, it makes it look like something you can actually hold on to now. Because, I mean, everybody, including myself, been screaming about something single stack carry gun. That's not, and it has enough room for you to get a full grip on. Because I've shot the LC9s, I shot a few compacts, but you're talking to a dude that carried the 1911 concealed for a few years, so I've got the eyes I can do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious though, because when you look at who makes another one, Terran Tactical, you look at their +2s for the 43. And it adds almost no length to it, so it seems like I'm kind of wondering. I'm starting to think Terran Tactical has some kind of witchcraft going on with their grips, and that there's not actually enough room for 8 rounds. They just put a spell on it, and it somehow magically makes it hold 8 rounds. Because their grips add almost nothing, but it adds the 2 whole rounds. So really curious on theirs. But then again, the Terran Tactical is like $40 instead of $12, so. You get a little longer length, but you save, $20-something.
Well, I think, hey, it's up to you as a gun owner. What do you want to do and where you want to go with that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Terran Tactical makes some really good stuff. But you're also paying for the name of Terran Butler when he puts his name on it.
Plus, theirs are machined aluminum, and this one's plastic molded, so it's easier to produce, cheaper to produce these. So I can see the price disparity. I would really like to shoot a 43 with one of these on it because they look incredibly comfortable and useful. Plus, can't beat having more ammo on you.
You my boy, TJ. Buy a 43 and I'll buy the butt fight for
you. I will one day. I'll take you up on that, Tony.
That's a fair trade.
All right, I might be busy, but go ahead and let me know. I'll buy the $11 item.
All right.
Well, it's a lot like I carry the M&P C. And it takes, it's of course double stack, so we're not comparing apples to apples here, but it takes the larger 15-round magazines versus the 10. So I can take a regular M&P magazine and put it in the magwell, and it's got that gap. And I think Pierce Grips makes the, or maybe it might be just a Smith & Wesson product, but they make a block that you slide on top over your top of your magazine until it hits the floor plate, and it kind of acts as a collar to fill that gap in between the bottom of the grip and the bottom of that standard capacity or 15-round magazine. So it takes on a similar look to this as far as it gives it that extra curve, and it does look a little just disproportionate to the length of the barrel because it is a compact barrel. But I definitely like that. At the range, it's more enjoyable to shoot. Plus, you have more rounds, so you get to reload a little bit less. And there's no harm in taking that out and swapping just a standard round magazine. If you want to carry like summer carry, where you've got like a light shirt, and you're a little bit more worried about printing. And then in the winter, when you're carrying and you've got an overjacket or something. If you're carrying the same gun, you're not switching to a heavier gun for the winter. I mean, you can pop this extra mag in there. It gives you the extra 2 rounds, and it's still going to be pretty darn concealable depending on your dress. Because I mean, it really comes down to your dress. If you're wearing shorts and a white T-shirt that might be an Affliction T-shirt, might be a little too small for you. No judging, but I mean that's going to print obviously more than if you're wearing like me. I usually always have a vest or some kind of flannel overshirt, so the tails kind of cover my hips. But yeah, check that out. Strike Industries makes some really awesome products. I think if you had a 43, this would almost be something that you should mandatorily get at least one of to experience it, see if you like it.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it's too cheap not to try out almost. For $12, you could try it, and if you hated it, it wouldn't be the end of the world to throw it in a drawer and leave it there.
Another Glock 43 owner just as easy.
Right. I wonder if they do make one for the 42 as well for the same price.
Yes, they do.
And they also come in pink.
Come in what?
Truthfully,
the 42 one comes in pink. The 43 only comes in black. As of right now, at least.
Okay.
What's that, Tony?
And truthfully, if you want, you should really go and look at everything they have. They have some pretty cool stuff over here on Strike Industries. I'm just looking at their the X-Rail handrail, M-Lock,
Mm-hmm.
at $139. That's pretty good price. They just have some interesting stuff. It's an interesting company that makes some stuff. I remember hearing the name before. I think we've reviewed something of theirs before.
Yeah, we've talked about 1911 grips through them before. Some AR-15 components, parts, just polymer accessories.
Yeah, they seem to kind of be like
because I'm looking at this
Magpul there and a
handrail.
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, don't talk about Magpul.
Oh man, you're gonna get me excited. Because actually, that brings us to the main topic, the reviews, and I'm reviewing a Magpul product today. Perfect segue.
Nice.
So actually, I'm reviewing the MS4 Sling this week. So actually, like I was late to the party as far as trying out Magpul slings because they're a little more expensive than the slings that I had. I just had some cheap Blackhawks 2-point slings. And then I eventually got a Koitak single-point sling, with a bungee. They make those really cheapy. But I thought that's all you needed to spend on a sling. But then I, just kind of was walking through, surfing online and checking out some people's builds, and everyone was using these Magpul slings. And that was back when the MS3s were out. And so now these are the MS4 slings. And I think there's a review on the Firearms Insider already, I think by Steve Remy. I think it might have been the MS3, I think, because these 4s are pretty new. So they're available in all the cool Magpul colors. So this one is stealth gray. They've obviously got black. They've got OD green, and then they've got I guess, I don't know if they call this the flat dark earth or a coyote, but it kind of looks to me like a coyote brown or tan. So basically, it's very similar to the MS3 sling, the only difference being instead of having a paraclip on one end, it actually has a QD on both ends, and the point where if you want to convert it to single point, instead of a paraclip latching onto a D-ring, you have a QD, and this new D-ring has QD ports on both ends. It's very kind of skeletonized and lightweight. It does have a melanite finish on there, so it's going to be anti-corrosive. But you just, on either side of this D-ring, you can mount your QD. So this goes from a 1-point sling to a 2-point sling very easily just by pushing the button. So this is kind of making you take like a modern rifle, whether you bought it and it's got all these QD ports on the handguard, and you've got your QD ports on your stock, or maybe you've got an adapter. If you're talking about an AR-15 adapter, like a sling plate, where your castle nut pushes up against. This would obviously mount there for single point, as well as you can mount it to your handguard, whether your handguard has QD ports, or you can even use, like, this is the Magpul RSA, so it mounts onto your Picatinny rail and it gives you a QD point, and you can have that kind of directional. So this is kind of hanging downwards. So the other nice thing, other than the fact that it has that that adjustability, or that I'm sorry, I'm lost for words. The dynamic, being able to swap between single and 1 point.
That's dynaptive, Ryan.
Dynaptive, that's the word I'm looking for. Dynaptive. I need to have that like tattooed on me somewhere so I remember it forever. But actually, like a true sling should, the adjustment for the length of the sling is one hand. So you just simply grab onto this sliding adjustment, and you can slide it forward or back to reduce the length of the slide. So you really can do this with one hand. I used to think all slings you had to kind of where the buckles were, the little figure eight, you had to like undo the sling and then kind of cinch up, take up the slack, and then tie it back. You don't have to do that with this sling at all. You just, back and forth, real easy. Just slide this up and down. So that makes it functionally the best sling that I've ever used. I'm sure there's lots of slings that use a system like this, but this is really easy. I didn't have to do anything. I set it up out of the box. I literally, or I should say the package that comes in, I just literally took it out of the package, put it on my rifle, and then I can adjust this as I need to. So it's really nice for, if you're carrying your rifle on some kind of patrol. You have the ability to have it slung over your shoulder. You can have it 2-point that way. You can also loop your arm underneath it and have it in front of you, kind of at the high ready. You can also just have it switch it to single point, which gives you a really nice low ready. And then also, if you need both hands, you can just let the rifle go and do what you need to do if you need to use your sidearm or anything like that. So it's a really good sling system. So into the review portion, just go over the key points for you guys. So the MS4 QD Gen 2 is designed for easy, rapid convertibility between 1-point and 2-point mode. And they do come in QD, and then they do come, I think the MS4s are all QD, and the MS3s come in either QD or both ends are paraclips. So the target market is modern sporting rifle owners. That's a fancy word of saying if you own an AR-15 or anything that's a modern black rifle, or what we don't call them assault rifles, so I'll call them defensive rifles. Military, obviously, security, law enforcement, and 3-gun competitors. If you're doing a stage where you have to sling your rifle or have it at the low ready, usually they don't require you to do that. Usually they have you use it and dump it, but you never know. The features and benefits: it's got the heavy push-button QD sling, swivels for both 1-point and 2-point attachment. The durable precision cast melanite finished steel QD D-ring allows for quick transition between those 1- and 2-point modes. So that melanite gives it a different wear and corrosion resistance. Custom 1.25 inch, so 1¼ inch wide nylon webbing. The material is wear resistant and anti-chafing. It's a really nice nylon material. It's also got a near infrared NIR treatment to reduce IR signature. I guess some nylon slings that do not have that kind of surface treatment to it can kind of bounce or reflect infrared. It's got a low profile adjustment slider for adding or removing sling tension with a single hand. The sling mount's compatible with buttstocks, end plates, receivers, and handguards that have QD sockets, as well as Magpul ASAP, QD, RSA, QD, MSA, QD, and shotgun forward sling mounts. And they don't, a lot of the benefit of using QD is that it's a universal mount that's getting really popular. So you can, go out and get any AR handguard, and most of the new ones all have a QD port in them, or at least 2 on the far end. Sometimes they have 4, 2 on each side. What other aesthetic options and finishes available? Like I said, the 4 different colors it comes in. I guess it also comes in Ranger Green as well. I guess that's called Ranger Green instead of OD Green, or maybe it's both greens. In reviews, what other people are saying, one Amazon review said, in training we use a cheaper sling, and I'm glad the Magpul sling feels nothing like the Black Hawk slings. It is much easier to adjust for first-time setup and during use. The components are high quality and look great on my Smith & Wesson M&P 10. The awesome part is the button that locks the clips closed so they don't open unintentionally. Actually, you know what? That's a review of the MS3, because those clips that lock, those are for the paraclip, I believe. So this other review from Amazon says, very nice sling. I have been shopping for slings for years until I found this one. Awesome single and 2-point sling, fulfills all firearm sling needs, and one easy to use, very adjustable sling. One hand quick slide adjustment makes the transition from single to 2-point seamless and easy. Outstanding, made in the USA. Magpul high quality. It may be a bit pricey, but in my opinion, very worth it. So the price points. MSRP is $57.95. Retail, Brownells has it for $55.95, or $55.99, sorry. So basically $56. Depending on where you go, they might have them on sale, so that price is going to fluctuate, but usually it's always above $50. So availability, Brownells has them, obviously, local gun shops as well. Usually, if there is a Magpul section, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's actually in the Sling section with all the other slings that they own. So my rating, I gave it an 8.5. The pros, one-handed adjustment, is really easy without any kind of lengthy tabs or loops you have to pull like other adjustment slings that are a little bit more old-fashioned where there's a large hand loop. This is kind of no frills, nothing excessive. It's all very high speed, low drag. Perfect for rifles with QDs in the stock or in the handguard. Quality steel parts with no rubber, plastic, or anything like that. The other nice thing is the QD ports on the D-ring. They're anti-rotational, and so you can kind of see there's some skeletonized ports, and those are what the QD detent in this sling attachment actually falls in those little cutout rectangles. So if the sling isn't the way you like it, you just kind of push on the button and then rotate it another like 10 degrees, and the detents will fall into the next channel. And so it's got a very limited range of rotation, and that's what a lot of guys like. They don't want the sling getting spun around and tangled up until it's a twisted mess. This kind of keeps the sling nice and straight, doesn't get all bunched up on you, and you don't have time to worry about that. So I didn't really have any cons about them other than the price is a little steep, but considering the quality, I see it entirely justified. So yeah, overall, 8.5 is great because once I got one, then I bought another, and then there was a sale, and I bought another. So now I have 3 slings, and they're kind of dedicated for each rifle or weapon platform. The really nice thing is that you could buy one and just easily swap it out from one AR to one AR pistol to one, kind of more longer range setup. You could have one sling for all of your guns as long as they use the QD system. I mean, you could have your shotgun, with the right aftermarket components, have QD ports, with a barrel clamp to your magazine tube, and then to your some kind of adapter or the stock itself. So that's really awesome to have one sling cover everything in your gun safe that has QD ports. But then again, it's nice to, if you've got, like I've got this rifle, it's mostly got flat dark earth components on there. So I got the one that was colored to match that. This gray one is going to match my SBR as soon as that's out of NFA jail. They're just great slings. I know they're going to last definitely in my lifetime. I don't use them hard enough where they would break. And then if there's any problem, Magpul's going to back it up 110%. The other really nice thing that I'm going to add to the pros is that it does not have any plastic of these loops. These are all high quality. I hate it when these things are just junk. They're just the cheap black plastic that eventually is gonna wear and break and be the weakest link in the chain, and these slings don't seem to have that weak link, which they shouldn't for $55. Any questions, you guys?
No, I think you covered everything. Those Magpul slings are pretty sweet, and they like to add a lot of utility to them, like you said, go from double to single and QD or not QD, and just you can do all kind of stuff with them. So.
And they made them wider, I see, so it's more comfortable.
Yeah, that 1 1/4 makes a huge difference than a 1 inch. Doesn't dig in as much.
Yeah, because I just got my new sling and I like it, and it's one-hand adjustable also, but it didn't cost me $59, but it doesn't have QD because I don't. So I mean, I'm cool with it and everything, but I've been looking at Magpul since I've been on the show because one of you guys is just obsessive fanboys, and they have some really cool closeout going on their Magpul DVDs. You know, these things that used to be $39 are now like $7. So if you
Nice.
ever wanted that Travis Haley, Chris Costa at the top of their fanboydom, these things are real inexpensive, and Christmas is coming up. So, I mean, if you ever have somebody that operates operationally in the operations, or at least acts like they do, this is a great place to pick up some top-of-line Magpul stuff, videos right now on their closeout pricing.
Yeah, and not to be that guy though, but you can watch those on YouTube for free. But maybe that's why the price came down so much.
Why? Because you can find them on YouTube for free?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I watched them all that way. But now I own them for $6.99 and $7.99. Just saying.
Yeah.
Want a stocking stuffer for the at-work commando? There you go.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I mean, on their website, they don't have OD green. They just have it Ranger green. And then they don't have flat dark earth. They call it coyote. So it's as close as you're going to coyote. So the closest you're going to get to matching after FDE. It's not a perfect match, but you know it's close enough. But everyone knows it's all about that stealth gray, man. That's the new hotness.
Battleship gray?
Yeah, battleship gray. When there's nuclear winter and there's dust filling the skies, blotting out the sun, and everything turns monotone gray, you're gonna blend into all the cement structures, and you're gonna be a total badass.
Or when all the volcanoes spew ash and turn everything gray.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so everything will be gray, so I won't need to buy something that's gray.
Sure. What's really nice is that I had an MS3 Sling with the paraclip on there, and I was using it on my my AK-47, my Wasser 10, because AKMs have that little sling loop in the cap on the end of the handguard. Since installing the Magpul Zukov stock, which I also did a review on earlier, I had to actually remove that loop. So then I didn't have anything that paraclip could work on necessarily for a 2-point system. So I was like, oh man, but then you can actually buy the QD parts separately. So if you had like an MS1 Sling, you could totally outfit it the way you wanted with getting QDs on each end. So all I had to do is just go to the shop and then replace the paraclip on one end and the D-ring with a QD setup instead of the paraclip. So then I converted my MS3 Sling to an MS4 Sling just for an extra $15. I didn't have to go and buy a brand new $50 Sling. So that upgradability is there if you need it.
Yeah, now, I don't know if you noticed the uncanny likeness of paraclip and paracord. What you could do is just tie off a piece of paracord and clip that paraclip to it.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, listen to you.
But
right,
I
so
guess,
now
I
we
guess
tell
Magpul doesn't brand paracord yet, so you can't go that
Not
route.
yet.
I wouldn't buy it anyway. It's got to have those little tiny M's in the pattern, and then I'll buy a whole.
Hey, I
whole
got
yard of it.
a Sharpie. I can put an M on it.
You guys are funny. All right, so then next up we're going on to the Tech Gadget Wrap section, and this is from Torty Pines Logic. This is something that came out of Big 3 East, so it's brand new. This is really cool. A lot of you guys are going to be all over this. This is an affordable thermal imager that mounts to your Picatinny rail. So it's called the T10, and there's 3 different variants. There's the S, the N, and the M. So it's really cool. The T10S has a 50-degree field of view with 9 hertz video. The T10N has a 25-degree field of view with a 9 hertz video, and the T10M has a 50-degree field of view and a 30 hertz video. So they've got multiple displays. So you got white hot night vision. You got a black hot night vision, so it's reverse of that, It's got color, and then it's got night vision green. So you can mount this to Picatinny rail. You can mount it to a user handle mount, so you can actually have this on like almost like a vertical foregrip, just for a handheld unit. And you can also, I guess, get a wrist strap to strap this on, so you could like totally freaking hold your arm out there like some kind of superhero and have this thermal imager on the end of your wrist. I don't know how cool that would look, but basically you could mount these on your ARs in front of your red dot, so that way you can give yourself shooting with your red dot at night, like your EOTech or your aim point, shooting at you basically the screen, but it's zero. You got your optics zeroed, and this is just basically you're gonna zero this along with that, so that you're shooting targets at night.
Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. I mean, for the depending on the model you get, it's between $500 and $750, I think, if I remember correctly. They're not terribly expensive when you think about thermal, and I guess it's between $499 and $699, so $500 to $700. And thermal stuff is usually incredibly expensive. I watched something, I just kind of generally browsing. I've never even really looked at thermal stuff just because it's obscenely out of my price range, so I just don't even hurt myself by looking at it. But some of the other ones are upwards of $3,000, and that's the cheap stuff, and then you have this at $600. That's pretty neat, assuming it works well. That's a really huge jump in technology, and I believe they're even using the FLIR, some kind of FLIR technology. I think FLIR released some smaller footprint technology to where they were able to actually finally fit it in something this small package, because we're all used to seeing the movies where they have these giant, looks like a full roll of paper towels sitting on top of their gun, and that's their thermal imaging. But these things are, honestly, it looks smaller than one of the smaller EOTechs. I forget the number, the 512 or something like that. The tiny one that uses the single CR123 batteries. This looks even smaller than those. So that's impressive. The screen on it, though, I'm kind of curious, because it looks pretty small. Because, like I said, it's smaller than
the... It says it's like 80 by 60 pixels.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They set that pencil there for comparison, so it's pretty darn small.
Yeah, right. I'm imagining that screen's probably, the size of the first digit on your thumb,
Yeah.
Probably a postage stamp size, so I'm pretty curious. Now, Ryan, that wrist strap might just be so you don't drop the thing. I don't imagine you're supposed to, like, strap it to your wrist and pew-pew like Iron Man, but it's probably so. I think it comes with a vertical foregrip that you just screw it down onto if you're just using it standalone. So the wrist strap is probably just so you don't drop it out of your tree stand from 30 feet in the air and
that makes more sense.
To get it.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like if you ever gone to the dollar store or got one of those cheap Christmas presents where it was a digital picture frame, or a keychain digital picture frame that fits on a keychain. It's almost like that kind of viewer screen. But the pictures on their catalog or their brochure that they're showing it mounted to ARs, kind of off to the 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock position on the forearm, so that you've got your regular magnified scope, but then you can kind of use your other eye to look through this and just I guess if you're tracking something in the field, I think it's low light. Kinda. Yeah, for scouting. I mean, they got it mounted to a Glock, or actually no, that's an XD for sure. Yeah, so they've got it mounted to the XD for some reason, and then they've got it mounted to a shotgun and some more ARs. But then there's other purposes for these as well. If you're looking at electrical applications, looking at security applications, seeing things in the night, energy efficiency is always a thing that like FLIR has tried to promote. Like you can walk around your house with this thing and see where heat is escaping, or if you're looking at the insulation of something where heat is entering.
Yeah.
So as far as the range performance goes, looks like the S and the M is in Michael. Those have a range of about 35 meters, and the trade-off is that it gives you a wider field of view, so that gives you that 50-degree cone, whereas the N, as in Noveski, that gives you a narrower cone of view, so 25 degrees. However, that gives you a range of 120 meters. So the N is going to be what you want for hunting, I would imagine, ideally. So you could pick up pigs or coyotes from a little bit farther out.
Yeah, and I think maybe the advantage of the M, I think the M is basically the kind of lower end. I think it's the $500 one, and it has a slightly slower refresh rate. And I don't know how that would quite affect your, if you're hunting and you see something on the screen, I don't know how quick that refresh rate's going to be to where, is it going to be exactly where the screen is showing it's at? So I don't imagine it would be that huge of a difference to where if you're maybe if the animal's running or something, it might not be accurate, but if you've got a hog that's feeding or something and it's not refreshing so quickly that maybe it's not exactly where it's at, but it's probably still pretty quick. I don't know much about refresh rates, so.
Well, you figure it's, the S and the N are 9 hertz, and the M is 30 hertz, and that's cycles per second. So, you're looking at every 1/9 of a second you get a refresh, so your screen kind of will refresh itself.
Okay.
And 30, and typically humans, what do we see, about 50 to 60? Anything faster than that and we don't notice it. I think is how it works. So if that helps anybody.
Okay. And they all run off of CR123 batteries with 8+ hours of operation. And I think I watched a YouTube video of them showing it off at SHOT Show, and with some of the, I don't remember the exact batteries, but with some of the higher end batteries, we were actually getting more than 9 hours of operation. So I think for that, really for thermal, that seems like a pretty good runtime.
Yeah.
On a single CR123 battery.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, 8 hours? That seems pretty good for a single,
because I know
$2 battery.
One of the guys on We Like Shooting was talking about some kind of thermal or night vision scope that he got, that I think he was lucky if he got 8 minutes out of battery life.
Yeah, didn't they say 30 minutes was like maximum
advertised,
or something?
30 minutes advertised, and he put it in there and it worked for about 10. But yeah, I think 8 hours has to be pretty good. But it's probably that tiny screen too. Plays a lot into it. But what else here?
So just to clarify, this is a thermal sight, so it's not using infrared technology. So even though it's showing a night vision green, a display that's not really infrared.
They call it simulated night vision. I think they just put a green tint on the black hot probably, or the white hot. They put a green tint to it.
I was going to say, because you could, if you had a laser mounted that was, infrared visible, it's not like you'd be able to see it pointing at your target through that little screen, because it's not really infrared technology.
Right.
It's just thermal.
Or an IR, like a IR Surefire or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not going to work with it, I would imagine. I'm wondering why so the M has the quick release as well. That's another benefit of it. The M, as in Michael model, has a quick release, and so it weighs a little more. I just noticed the weight was almost double, and I was just kind of curious. But I think that's about it. I don't know what the shutter means. Hey, do you guys know what that means? On the specifications, the S and the M, as in Michael, say yes to the shutter, and the N, as in Noveski, as Ryan said, does not have a shutter. I'm not sure what that shutter even means.
I don't know if that means that you can, for protection, maybe, like a lens cover, or whether that means like camera shutter.
Yeah, that's what kind of, it's
that's what I was
I'm thinking
wondering.
like cameras, would make sense, but they don't really elaborate.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Still pretty
Wow.
cool. I mean, I can see it'd be nice if these had some kind of AV plugin so you can record. Kind of what you people usually like to film night hunts. So if you could have this, kind of export some kind of video to your devices so that you could record that. However, if the resolution really is 80 by 60 pixels, no one's going to watch that on YouTube. That's going to be a blurry mess. But at this small of a screen, I guess it's more of a supportive item, because I actually was watching a guy have this mounted in front of his red dot optic. But I guess all these pictures that they're showing, it's used as a secondary, not obscuring your optic, but more as to supplement you to let you know that there is something indicating in front of you, whether it be a pack of coyotes or a herd of wild boar or, some guy breaking into your garage. You still need to be able to see that person, so having some kind of flashlight would be great. But it's just interesting the uses that they show it. When the first image I saw was the guy that had it in front of his optic, and that's what captivated me. It was like, oh, sweet, this is a way where you can give your EOTech or your aim point some thermal imaging, that's easily removable if you don't want it on there anymore.
Yeah, honestly, I think that would be my preferred use of it. Is if you're going to use it for hunting, just put it in front of the red dot. But I guess if you're using a magnified optic, you couldn't do that. But I think they don't cover it in the spec sheet, which I find is weird. But I did see you guys talking about that video where they were talking about it at the SHOT Show, and from that video said there was a 2.5x zoom. So, kind of curious on how that would work out with a red dot. I guess it would just be kind of like a low-powered magnified. It would kind of magnify your red dot, but I don't know. It just seems like it might be a weird combo, which may be why they don't necessarily show it. But I don't know. Them not putting it on their spec sheet is quite odd. So maybe the rep just misspoke on the one video that I watched. So I'm not entirely sure about that.
Yeah, you never know with those reps. I mean, depends on who makes the video. Those people, if it was range day, that was the first day, or if it was the 5th day of SHOT Show and these guys are just shot.
Yeah, this is at the booth, so it might have been Friday when they were ready to go and just kind of just talking scripts and put the wrong script to the wrong product. I guess could have been.
Yeah. Well, looking at some of their YouTube videos, when I Google Torrey Pines thermal sight, I mean, they've made red dots in the past, that collaborate with these units. So it's kind of interesting to see some of the examples that they're showing. Of course, it's that small screen, so the guy filming the YouTube channel has a hard time getting a good focus on it. But it seems to do a pretty good job. I'd like to see a bigger screen. I think it seems like some of those EOTechs have windows that would be large enough to facilitate that kind of display.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat if they put it in that EOTech package, because it's not too much bigger, but it would probably offer at least 50% more screen size.
I'm sure the Silencer Co. Weapons Research is working on that right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I got the links in the show notes for that. If that piques your interest and you want to check that out, we don't have any listener feedback this week. So as always, closing, I want to leave room for Tony to plug what he's got going on for the Second Is for Everyone diversity events, or just whatever's going on down at that darn black bag. I did get my knife using the promo code Ryan's Hat. I thought that was pretty awesome.
All right, that's pretty cool. He said you probably get that by now. How sharp is that sucker?
It's pretty sharp. I could definitely hurt myself unintentionally, of course.
Just stab yourself in the chest again?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could take a little honing if I wanted to use it for, skinning, but it's a little bit large for that task. I didn't think it was this big, man. You weren't kidding. This thing is like Rambo size almost.
Fighting knife.
Yeah.
I carried that in my pocket in Trenton.
Well, yeah, well,
That was
because
my Trenton pocket knife.
you make it look like a little tiny Swiss Army knife. I mean, does your hand fit on this grip at all? Like, you got enough room with your mitts?
Hold on.
Oh no,
It's in my carry bag.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I carry it to work.
It's carry size for you.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man up, guys. It's a real knife.
That's a knife.
But that's a knife. This week, actually, last Saturday I was at the Friends of the NRA dinner just to, meet and greet more people to help out the diversity shoot. It's growing. It's getting bigger. More people are coming. More prizes are coming. It's pretty cool. The next event is November 19th at Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park, New Jersey at 6 p.m. They're getting bigger every time. If you're coming, I suggest you go ahead and let me know you come because I'm putting together goodie bags for everyone that shows up. It's going to be worthwhile to come to. We have more guys who do custom guns. They're coming and they're bringing their wares. So you get to shoot a bunch of custom guns. And it's going to be awesome because the last guy that was there had 4 $7,000 ARs with optics on them ready to go in both 5.56 and 300 blackout. Then we had a guy from Philly. He brought in his custom Glocks. He brought in his custom 1911s. I mean, this is what you go. I mean, it's $25 an hour for the range fees. I don't get paid that. That goes straight to the range. You need the Eye and Ear Pro and bring some targets if you want. And pretty much for $50, you can come out to a place, leave with a grab bag that probably has $20 worth of stuff in a minimum, and get to shoot all kinds of guns and not have to clean any of them. I'm just telling you, it's a fun thing. And if you want to join the NRA, I have memberships for the NRA. I'm going to have newsletters for the ANJRPC, which is New Jersey's Second Amendment Foundation, Second Amendment group. This is worth going to. I just came off of New Jersey SafeCon, which was the very first Second Amendment conference in this state. And we have a lot of people coming from that to this event. So if you have questions about the Second Amendment in Jersey, pretty much the next big place to find out about that stuff is at my shoot on November 19th at Gun for Hire Range. I'd like to thank you guys again for giving me this time to say this. I know it's getting kind of monotonous to the regular users, listeners, but if you live in a free state like TJ and you don't belong to a Second Amendment group, go online and join one of New Jersey's because we need your money. I'm not even joking. If you don't need the help in your state, if you think your state is fine, donate to another state, one near you. Donate to like Cal Guns or something like that. We're all in this together. That's one of the things I picked up from the conference. We're either going to hang together or we're going to hang separately. I mean, it's just that simple. They're going after state by state. They went after Washington. They went after Oregon. I heard the next on the list is Nevada, that Bloomberg has his little mitts on, and they go in and they buy all the advertising time. So even when they're pushing the bill, the only thing you hear from is the anti-gun, anti-rights side. We have to be members of groups. When we're members of groups, our groups carry more cachet when they go in to speak to these representatives. That's why we have to do this. Also, if you're not into the Second Amendment, if you're busy with your day-to-day life, when you belong to a group, the group will send you emails or Facebook notices about what's going on so you don't get snuck up on. I know people in Jersey who think they're gun people that don't know it's illegal to have a 30-round magazine, and it's been the law since 1993 because they don't pay attention. Don't be that person that gets caught breaking the law and get locked up because, well, it was easy enough to find out for $25 a month being in the NRA, $25 a year being a member of the NRA. So join the Second Amendment, and if not, join one another somehow. That's my Second Amendment moment. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it, the Second Amendment moment. Brought to you by Tony Simon.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for that. And
Did the whole thing break up and I locked out?
yeah, just when you were saying one word, I'll fix that in post. But other than that, that's the end of the show. So send questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsider.tv or myself, Cross at firearmsradio.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes, and be sure to visit the Firearms Insider for reviews and industry coverage. Thank you all for listening to another show. Thank you guys for joining me. It was great having you again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, it's good.
Chad bailed on us.
I came back.
Didn't even know you left.
I missed the Magpul review or whatever, but I'm
That's
sure
why that's why there was a distinct lack of mockery I was hearing. You weren't here.
Yeah, you were down 33% of mockery.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, I'll get you guys on the next episode. Everyone shoot safe. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
Later.